It's Wednesday, April 19th, and it's been a while, but you're watching CT Pulse on the HAN network. I'm Kate Chaplinsky, and later in today's show, we're going to be joined by Trumbull First Selectman Tim Herbst. He's a potential Republican candidate for governor in 2018, and he was just recently diagnosed with thyroid cancer. We're going to be talking to him about that and if it's going to have any effect on his political goals. We'll also catch up later on with our editorial cartoonist, Doug Smith, who we haven't seen in a while. But first, Governor Dan Malloy is not seeking re-election, an announcement that wasn't surprising to many, and he made it official on Friday. So today we're going to review some of the Democrats who've come forward as potential candidates. We've talked about Republicans in the past on this show, and now we have some Dems that have been discussed early on, and 3 that have officially announced exploratory committees, 2 just recently after Governor Malloy's announcement. But the first of those candidates to announce way back before Governor Malloy said he wasn't seeking re-election was Middletown Mayor Dan Drew. Now, he was first elected as mayor there in 2011. He is a former grants writer and actually previously a journalist in Virginia, and he was the first to file exploratory papers, and so far he's raised about $100,000 for his gubernatorial run. He also made the announcement on YouTube. Let's check it out.
Hi, I'm Dan Drew, the mayor of Middletown. Companies like FedEx are moving here. Hundreds of small businesses have opened, our budgets have repeatedly ended in surpluses, and we've cut the unemployment rate in half. We've even lowered taxes while improving social services. We've banned fracking waste and invested in green energy. Our schools are great, and people are moving into Middletown. Connecticut needs to move in the same direction. That's why I've filed an exploratory committee to consider a run for governor. For too long, the focus of our government has been to assist people at the very top. The people in the middle are the ones left behind. Fixing the economy isn't simply a policy decision, it's a moral imperative. Inequality is not inevitable. It's the consequence of bad decisions. Too many Democrats have gone along with these policies for too long for fear that our opponents would say negative things about them. Instead, we have to recognize that we have the opportunity and the responsibility to think big and to make the bold changes that will tangibly improve life for people in Connecticut. Seniors should be able to retire comfortably. Parents should be able to send their kids to great public schools. And workers deserve good jobs that support their families. I look forward to meeting you.
Again, that was an announcement video from Middletown Mayor Dan Drew. I like the interesting choice of black and white there. But he has seemed to pick up some momentum because he was the first to announce. As I mentioned, he's raised $100,000 so far. Now, after Governor Dan Malloy's announcement on Friday that he's not running, we've had a couple other potential candidates come forward, one of those being Jonathan Harris. He's now, just recently, the former commissioner of the Department of Consumer Protection. He stepped down on Monday in order to be able to file exploratory committee to seek this nomination. He's 53 years old. He's also been an attorney for 20 years, and he's a former mayor of West Hartford. According to CT News Junkie, Harris has indicated that he wouldn't seek the Democratic nomination if Lieutenant Governor Nancy Wyman decides to run. Now, he failed to win his party nomination for Secretary of State back in 2010. That was the first time that he sought a statewide candidacy. Now, the third, just today, to announce that they are filing an exploratory committee, though there's been talk of this for a bit now, according to Neil Vigdor, is Chris Maddy. Now, as a federal prosecutor, he won a jury conviction against former Republican Governor John G. Rowland for campaign fraud. He made it official today that he's filed that committee, according to CTNewsJunkie.com. He's a 38-year-old Hartford Democrat and former chief of the Financial Fraud and Public Corruption Unit in the U.S. Attorney's Office for Connecticut. He's now a trial lawyer with Koskoff and Beater in Bridgeport. He also released a video today. Let's check it out.
We've arrived at a troubled time. It seems that the values that I grew up with and that so many of us share are being put to the test every day. Values of fairness and decency, tolerance, and the rule of law. Many of us have stood up and joined together to defend those values. This is a time for citizenship. And what I believe is that if we are to resist what's happening in Washington, that work starts right here at home. I'm Chris Maddy. I've served our state as the Assistant United States Attorney in charge of fighting public corruption and financial fraud here in Connecticut. I was born and raised in Windsor. And my wife and I are raising our 3 boys here in Connecticut because this is home. We love our community. But we face an uncertain future. Our economy isn't working for average people. Household costs are too high. Our state budget is in distress, and our education system isn't serving every child. Yet I know that we love our state and want to build a future here. So I've formed a gubernatorial exploratory committee because I believe that if we are finally going to address our challenges, we must embrace a new kind of politics. A politics of engagement and openness. A politics that rejects the backroom deals and influence peddling which only hold us back. A politics that lifts up every voice. I've spent my public life trying to be...
So there you have a very earnest campaign video released today from attorney Chris Maddy announcing his plans to file an exploratory committee. Again, so those are the 3 that have announced officially. Now, other candidates that have been mentioned along the way, including Lieutenant Governor Nancy Wyman, she has not announced any plans. Now, just interesting facts about Wyman. She did start her public service career as a Bristol Board of Education member in Tolland, and she was elected to 4 terms in the State House of Representatives. In 1994, she was the first woman ever elected to state comptroller, where she served for 16 years before becoming lieutenant governor in 2010. Again, she's made no formal announcements, but as we mentioned earlier, Jonathan Harris said he will not run if Nancy Wyman does decide to run. Now, we've also talked about Comptroller Kevin Lembo. He's not announced formal plans, but he has been seen around the state. People have discussed him potentially exploring that role. Now, Lembo had an unconventional path to public service. He actually worked as a public health advocate before his first successful election for state comptroller in 2010. He's also the first openly gay statewide elected official in Connecticut. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, another candidate that's been talked about a lot but hasn't announced, Ted Kennedy Jr. Now, he is the son of Edward Kennedy, which obviously means he's the nephew of late President John F. Kennedy. He's 55 years old, second-term state senator from Bramford, a healthcare lawyer. He's also been a disability advocate, as he had a rare form of bone cancer as a child that left him with a prosthetic leg. Sources told Hearst Connecticut media there's a 90% chance he will run, but he has not said so publicly. He's also had somewhat of a green agenda as a state senator. It's irked some of the GOP. He supported a carbon tax bill that stalled, and he did push for single-use retail bags to be made of 80% recyclable material by 2020. So I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot more about this, and it's been interesting to see since Friday who's kind of stepped forward. But we are going to step out for a break now, and we're going to come back with a Republican who's exploring a run for governor, Tim Herbst, right after this.
At the Milford Bank, we offer an extensive selection of lending products and services to meet virtually any need. Submit your application online in our Mortgage Web Center. Start to finish, you can apply for a loan in as little as 10 minutes. Our knowledgeable and helpful staff are available to meet with you at your convenience. To learn more about what we can do for you, stop by one of our Milford Bank offices or visit us at milfordbank.com. The Milford Bank, always there. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Have a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Basketball, hockey, skiing, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. The iPark Building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
We told Dad he could have his office back if he sold 150 cars last month.
Deal's a deal.
Well, Dad, you did it. You get your office back.
Forget it. I'm having too much fun down here. My new goal, 160 cars. Wow. Folks, if you ever wanted a great price on a new Nissan, now is the time.
Right now, lease a 2017 Altima 2.5S for only $99 a month.
Isn't it time you got Millerized?
It's the InSports Athletic Functional Movement Assessment Program.
A program that uses a camera, the same camera that you use with an Xbox video game.
What it involves is 3 phases. One is the initial test, which will give you a very objective and lengthy assessment of how you are moving and where there may be imbalances.
Once test gets the results from the assessment, we'll develop a customized program for the individual.
The objective really to try to get as many young athletes through this program as possible.
Wild Birds Unlimited.
At Wild Birds Unlimited of Brookfield, get expert advice from our certified bird feeding specialists. We offer always fresh, clean seed that will be sure to attract birds to your home feeder. Experience our excellent customer service. Open 7 days a week. Visit us at 317 Federal Road, Brookfield.
Wild Birds Unlimited. We bring people and nature together.
I'm Frank Granito.
And I'm Donald Ng for the HAN Network.
Tune in to Nutmeg Sports Monday through Thursday, where we bring you all the top stories from Connecticut sports.
From highlights to player interviews and expert analysis, no one gets you closer to Connecticut's games than Nutmeg Sports.
Nutmeg Sports, now Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. on the HAN Network.
Welcome back to CT Pulse on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Chaplinsky, and we talked before the break about Democrats that could seek their party's nomination for governor. And now on the line, we have Trumbull First Selectman Tim Herbst, who is exploring a run for governor on the Republican side. We've had Tim on Pulse before to talk about political battles, but recently the First Selectman talked about a fight of a different kind involving his health. Tim, welcome back on CT Pulse, and we're so sorry to hear about your thyroid cancer diagnosis.
Well, you know, Kate, I'm very lucky that we were able to catch this early. I'm very lucky that I was proactive in monitoring my thyroid. As you probably heard, my father had thyroid cancer when he was 25 years old in 1977. So this is something that I've been monitoring. And because of excellent doctors, an excellent team of endocrinologists, this was detected during a routine biopsy. It was detected very early. And I'm just fortunate to have great doctors, an excellent surgeon, and we're going to deal with this and get on with the business at hand.
Now, Tim, you only found out about this just about 2 weeks ago. I mean, what can you tell us just about mentally how you kind of process something like this?
You know, having, my dad had thyroid cancer, my mother had breast cancer, my grandmother passed away from lung cancer, so I have to tell you, a lot of people have had loved ones that have been impacted by cancer, but I got to tell you, when somebody tells you you have cancer, it's like somebody hits you with a baseball bat. It's a very, eye-opening experience to be told you have cancer and then to come up with a plan to deal with it. So, fortunately, I got to tell you, my doctors are just incredible. My endocrinologists, I couldn't ask for better endocrinologists, and, we're going to deal with it. And I said to them, when the diagnosis came through, they said, we caught it early. I said, well, good, because I've got a town to run and a campaign to get off the ground, so let's not waste any time and let's fix this, and hopefully, God willing, God will give me many more years, and I will be cancer-free very shortly.
Now, Tim, why did you decide to kind of make it public, announce it? I know you announced it to town hall staff, but what was your thinking behind that?
I wanted to underscore the importance of being proactive about your health. Never be afraid to go to the doctor. Never be afraid to be proactive in making sure your health is okay. And always know that nothing is more important than your health. One thing I've learned from this process is, especially when you're in politics, you'll deal with a lot of political battles, nonsense, but at the end of the day, nothing is more important than your health, and nothing is more important than your family. Those are the two most important things in life. So I just wanted people to know that it was important to be proactive with your health, and I want people to know that this is a very treatable form of cancer. If you monitor it and if you're proactive about it, very treatable. High rate of treatments that lead to a positive prognosis.
And Tim, do you see this at all affecting, your political aspirations, your time on the campaign trail, or, running Trumbull?
Not at all. Not at all. In fact, I've been out on the trail, and people have been surprised to see me, and I say, they say, are you okay? I said, I'm great. You know, I feel great. We're going to get the surgery done and we're going to get on with it. But, people have seen me at town hall. They've been shocked that, I've been in at work. Look, working and staying busy and staying active keeps your mind off things too. I think people know I have a pretty strong work ethic. So, for me, if anything, it's good therapy as well. Keeps the mind active. It doesn't focus you to think on what you're going to have to deal with, but you deal with it anyway. And, like I said, my plan is to go in on a Friday, have my thyroid removed, and be back at work on a Monday.
Wow. And now kind of moving on to the campaign side, you announced the exploratory committee seeking potentially the top office in the state. Has anything changed on that front? What's happening now in your process?
Well, we had a very good first fundraising quarter, Kate. I was proud of the fact that in my first quarter, we raised 3 times what Mayor Boughton raised. And, this is his 3rd time running, so I was kind of proud to come out of the gate so strong, and I was proud of the fact that we raised one-third of the qualifying contributions in 10 weeks. We have to raise, if I elect to proceed with the candidate committee for governor, we're going to have to raise $250,000 in increments of $100,000 or less by next May. And I'm proud of the fact that we raised a third of that money, $83,500 in 10 weeks in increments of $100 or less. That was not an easy thing to do. And I'm proud of the fact that 93% of my contributions are from in-state, that my average donation was just $86. So our message of reform, of telling it like it is, of confronting our problems, of thinking about the next generation and not the next election, that's resonating with people. And I'm going to continue with that message, and I'm very hopeful that the next quarter will be even better than the first quarter.
Now, Tim, you're certainly not shy about getting into political battles. In fact, we have criticized your style on that in the past. So what do you think now about the pool of candidates that are coming up on the Democrat side for governor?
Well, look, here's what I have said. When Governor Malloy announced that he was not going to seek a 3rd term, I said very candidly and very clearly that any person, any Democrat that has held public office in Hartford over the course of the last 8 years shares equal blame with Governor Malloy for supporting a job-crushing agenda that is driving businesses and people out of our state. When we have a state government that has shown a propensity to spend at levels that people's incomes cannot sustain, at the same time we have seen consistent decline in our population over the last 3 years. Every day, 55 people are leaving Connecticut. I just don't think any Democrat running presents any type of a clear alternative to the last 8 years that we have endured under this governor. So I'm going to just continue with the message that's very simple, and and I direct this message at both parties. You're not going to change Hartford by having another Hartford insider go from one seat to sit in another seat. If you're going to change Hartford, if you're going to take on the Hartford insiders, you need to send an outsider with a proven record of reform to shake things up. People realize we have to shake things up. We need to start telling it like it is. And we have to be honest in confronting our problems. We have to be honest that there needs to be comprehensive pension reform in Connecticut. There needs to be comprehensive tax reform in Connecticut to make Connecticut more competitive and more affordable. We need spending reform in Connecticut. We need criminal justice reform, public safety reform, education reform, infrastructure reform. These are the things the next governor needs to focus on, and we need to start thinking about the next generation and stop thinking about the next election. And I just don't think Hartford insiders have the capacity to think like that or to get it done. And if I thought they did, I wouldn't be in this race.
Now, Tim, on the other side of it, do you have any thoughts on some of the other Republicans that have come forward? I know these are many people you've worked with. I mean, there's been discussions about Themis Claridis as a potential candidate. What are your thoughts on that end as far as what's right for the party going forward? Obviously, I imagine you think that, you could be the right person for it, but tell us a little bit about that.
Look, we have a lot of people in our party that are going to seek this nomination, and I believe in the process, and I believe in having as many debates as possible because I want every Republican in Connecticut to properly vet our candidates. I want our candidates to be properly vetted. So I'm not going to really spend too much time in this phase talking about the people that I might be running against. I'm going to be talking about what I want to do for the state of Connecticut if I'm given the opportunity. And I have to tell you, based upon what I've seen so far, I'm really the only Republican candidate that's talking about specific things that I want to tackle. Should I be fortunate enough to run for governor? Should I be fortunate enough to earn my party's nomination? And should I be fortunate enough to be elected? I'm talking about things that are on people's minds, and I'm giving very specific proposals as to what I believe we need to do to address those issues. So elections are about the future. I think that the current generation of leadership has created this mess, and I think that it's time for a new generation of leadership to clean up this mess. And that's going to be the message that I take to Republicans across the state and to voters across the state as this progresses.
All right. Now, Tim, before we let you go, Donald Eng, our Trumbull Times editor, said I should ask you how many Democrats have signed up to kick soccer balls at you this weekend?
Not as many as I thought. I'm kind of disappointed because I was hoping we could raise a lot of money. You know, I was joking with somebody this morning. I said, you know, they're very concerned about the cost of a community center. Maybe what we could do is they could all line up for $100 a piece, and we can use some of the revenues from their participation to offset the cost of the community center.
And let's tell people a little bit about this fundraiser. You are going to be a soccer goalie at a fundraiser this weekend, right?
Correct. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. I would just ask that people avoid kicking the ball anywhere near my neck to the best extent possible.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Well, Tim, thanks so much for talking with us today, and we do really wish you the best health-wise. I'm sure we'll be talking with you in the future.
Thank you, Kate. Appreciate the time.
All right. Thanks so much. All right. Well, we're going to take a break. We'll be back after this with Doug Smith's editorial cartoons coming up on CT Pulse.
Did you know heart attacks and strokes are the leading cause of death in America? Protect the health of you and your loved ones. Talk to a doctor about heart disease. Hi, I'm Dr. David Pazer with ProHealth Physicians, encouraging you to stay informed about health matters that affect you.
ProHealth Physicians is on the pulse of social media to share information about health and nutrition with the community. Get up-to-the-minute alerts, including ProHealth Physicians' news and upcoming events. Connecticut's leading group of primary care doctors is just a click away.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. Scap Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Located in Fairfield, Connecticut, we're easy to get to. Just 2.5 miles off the Merritt Parkway, exit 44 via Route 58 South. Save thousands right now during the spring clearance event, now through April 30th.
Part of banking well is doing good. That's why, with the support of local community partners, Bankwell has launched the Bankwell Pet Adoption Project to boost awareness about the hundreds of animals in local shelters that need a home. And when you donate to the cause using the Bankwell self-service coin machines, we'll match your donation. For details, visit mybankwell.com/pleaseadoptme. Bank smart, bank local, bank well.
When it comes to considering the outside of your home, just imagine the possibilities. Whether your dream is a stunning freeform pool or a tranquil, secluded garden, the team of professionals at Stonebridge Associates will make it a reality. We offer unparalleled landscape design and construction, masonry development, pools, spas, and water features, as well as landscape and garden maintenance. No other firm can offer the same level of creativity, quality, and personal attention. Discover the possibilities at stonebridgeassociates.net or call 203-544-8376 today.
On time, done right, safe and reliable. Mr. HandymanCT.com.
Let our satisfied customers tell it.
I have called Mr. Handyman for every reason, every occasion, every broken item, every leak. They have bailed me out on many occasions, and I would recommend them to anyone.
For any project, large or small.
Mr. HandymanCT.com.
If you're watching this broadcast, you're not alone. The HAN network is available for 200,000 Connecticut cable customers on the Frontier network. And we've also reached more than 2 million viewers on our free live streaming sports, news, and entertainment broadcasts. To reach our rapidly growing audience, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to CT Pulse. It's time for drawing conclusions with the bull form of Doug Smith, who is drinking Canadian Club out of a trough. What do you call it? I guess that's the correct term.
Maybe there's somewhere about branding. You
don't seem to have much reaction to the branding in that. I think it's because you were drinking that much. Exactly. No, Doug, we're happy to have you back. You have some good political cartoons for us this week, including one that relates to something we just talked about with First Selectman Tim Herbst. This is nice.
Yeah, well, we heard about his last week. Heard about his thyroid cancer, and whether you like him or hate him or whatever, we all want the best. Wish him the best there.
Yes. No, very nice there. And another one, kind of about someone running for governor. Now, I love when you draw Mayor Mark. The drawing's changed a little bit over time, but you get the gist of it there.
Yep.
So Shelton's trying to pull him back.
Yeah, because I guess a lot of folks don't want him to go.
Yeah.
Because whatever. I mean, he's been there a long time, and he's done a lot of things. So
taxes are low.
Yeah, maybe he'll do some good for the state too.
Yeah.
Who knows?
All right, let's see what's up next. One of those plastic coyotes just made off with one of my plastic flamingos.
That's in Milford. They've erected these plastic coyotes to get rid of the Canadian geese, and they're like little weather vanes in the ground. They sort of spin around, and
so they might start attacking some of the other plastic animals around. Yeah, something we have to watch out for. Now, tell us about this next one, Massac High School community judges.
The capstone project is. I guess it's something where the kids learn to talk in front of crowds and interact with people as opposed to just being plugged into electronic media. They do reports by actually going and doing research, learning how to write, and so they need some judges. So
maybe not judges like that.
Exactly.
Now tell us about this next one, Easton, circa 2050. What's this about?
People are talking about. They want to start a village center. There's a contingent in town. They want to do that, and there's some people they want to keep Easton the way it is, very rural. They're afraid if you get a little village center, it'll just lead to more and more building.
Yeah, you got a lot of development there. I can't imagine Easton looking quite like that, but I'm sure that terrifies some residents there.
I remember what Bridgeport Avenue in Shilton looked like back in the 60s.
That's a good point. Interesting point there. All right, and tell us about this one.
Earth Day. So it's
nice.
Play on what's the movie? Independence
Day. Yes, Earth Day. I like it. And this next one, Ridgefield Gone Country. This is going to be Saturday, May 6th and Sunday, May 7th. I love it. Wow, they really got an authentic band this year. Wonder if those are Ridgefielders or if they came from out of town.
I think they came a little north. Somewhere up in the valley, maybe.
All right, tell us about this one.
That's the Shakespeare Theater. They're looking to hire an architectural firm to fix up the theater, and the name of the firm is Marvell.
So you could not help yourself.
I know. So I'm thinking that's what's going to happen.
Look at the poor squirrels and raccoons.
I know.
All right, Doug. Well, thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next week, of course.
Thank you.
And be sure to tune in next Wednesday at 12:30 as we talk with Ridgefield First Selectman Rudy Marconi, who's part of a local group working to fight the legalization of recreational marijuana in Connecticut. Still coming up today, Nutmeg Sports at 2 o'clock, live boys volleyball at 5:30, and we'll see you next week for CT Pulse.